If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or sales manager, why should you personally call cancellations and upset clients? And why does this matter? And how can it help your business? This is a fantastic question. I'm Scott Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Consulting Secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and business and a fantastic day to talk about you. I'm coming to you live from the Sacramento Delta. Things happen in business. People get upset. You lose clients. There's going to be attrition. But if you have cancellations, one of the most valuable things that you can do as a business owner, entrepreneur, or sales manager is find out why. Okay. And I will share with you, there are a couple of buckets why this happens. And let's talk first thing. The salesperson made promises they couldn't keep to close the deal. I can think of times where I worked with salespeople, and what I did was I created an Excel sheet. And I kept track of where and who got complaints. I had 22 salespeople underneath me the last time that I was a sales manager. And I will share with you four of the sales dudes, because it was pretty much all dudes, were the ones that caused almost all of the complaints. Occasionally, I had a complaint about one of the women on the team. Occasionally, I'd have a complaint about one of the dudes on the team. But there was 4 offenders. And these guys, they would say and do anything to close a deal. And it was infuriating because what would happen is it would cause a whole bunch of time, energy, and effort on the management team. So what we did was we figured out what the manager's time was worth if they had to deal with a concern instead of working on project services that are going to push the business forward. And so my time was chewed through fixing all these problems, and all these salespeople were being celebrated. And I go to the management team and I go, hey, we are celebrating the wrong thing. We are absolutely celebrating the wrong thing. If you take a look at this sales guy that's supposedly really good at what he does, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 complaints this week about him, right? Things that were promised that were never going to be delivered, and he knew they were never going to be delivered, but he said and did it anyway to close the sale. That's a shenanigan. I'm calling timeout. I'm calling foul. And unfortunately, I worked inside of an organization where it was profits cover sins, and it fell on deaf ears. One of the reasons I ended up leaving. Like, profits cover sin model completely ruined everything. Number 2, it's the beginning of the fulfillment. It's that gap of when the product was sold to when the person finally got their outcome, right? They needed something delivered. They needed something installed. So we're talking usually within the first 72 hours if it's a general service, something that could be done online. And we're talking probably within a week if it was something that was installed inside of a home or a business. And so you should create that your own internal service level agreement, like, hey, when on this timeline, draw out a timeline, when are we getting the most complaints? Are we getting it like 24 hours after the sale? Are we getting these cancellations, coming up like immediately? Are we getting the cancellations after a set time? So it really depends upon what you're delivering. So it could be after a service, it could be before a service, but you should be mapping this out, right? For me personally, I knew when I was doing full-time sales that if I had a cancellation, it was probably going to happen within the first 18 hours. I tracked this. And I figured out why I was getting these cancellations. I was at sales calls too long. And you're like, hey, Scott, how does that work? Well, eventually, if you give me enough time, I'm probably going to say something that doesn't make sense in a sales process because I get tired, right? There's a point where I just go off script. In consulting, I've learned different, but in sales, I didn't know this. So I would go off script and, oh my goodness, back in the day, I would say stupid stuff. And so sometimes it offended people. Sometimes it caused people to question. And sometimes people are just like, we want you to leave and we're going to sign on the dotted line so that you leave. Okay. Now here's the thing. If you're looking to sell your business in the next 2 to 3 years and you want some help on the exit strategies as consulting or even general consulting, you should reach out to the deal hotline, 888-DEAL-919, 888-DEAL-919, and a member of my team will get back to you. No deal is too big. So you absolutely positively should be auditing the process when you have cancellations. And what you're going to find is you're going to end up with like between 3, 5, or 7 questions that you map out and you consistently ask. You're going to find that there are things that are issues. And so you should take really good notes. And it's going to be the 80-20 rule. It's going to come out that there's a couple people on your team that are causing them. There's a couple of events. There's some hiccups. And they're going to frustrate you because you're going to be like, what? Why is this happening? How did this happen? And then, instead of taking it on the team, you're going to go in and say, hey, listen, we have to have a conversation. I don't know how X, Y, and Z happened, but how do we fix this? You tell me how you think we should fix it first, and then I'll give you my ideas. I always like to throw things on the team first so that I can see who's got the ability to discover problems, issues, and concerns. I want to see if they have the ability to suss out ways. And, sometimes they would come up with a good answer, but they would be like 80% of the way there. So I'd say, hey, I think we're almost there. So we got like this much of a gap. What more? We're almost there. We got this much of a gap. What more? We're almost there. We are almost there. Like this much. What more can we do? Right? And that constraint of saying we're almost there allowed them to be creative and allowed for them to come back and say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what I think will fix this. Here's the strategies we're going to deploy. Here's what we're going to do to make this fixed. So you should positively, absolutely, if you're an owner, have a sales manager do this. If you're an executive, have somebody do it that you trust, but take really good notes and figure out why you're getting cancellations. I'm going to share with you, you're going to end up with, out of 10 answers, 2 or 3 of them are going to be the most constant and they're going to frustrate you. Those are the ones you're going to fix first. You're going to use highest and best use of time. You're going to figure out which ones are easiest to fix, fastest to fix. And if they're a problem with one person or 2 people, it's let's figure this out. Performance plan, adios. If it's egregious and it's ethical, it's adios. That's just the way that I see it. You can do it whatever way you want. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.